These are the interviews from Chat City on Preston FM. Don't forget, our show is live weekdays from 10 till noon. Tune in and become part of our family.
103.2 Preston FM.
Keeping it local.
And of course that's where you are, Preston FM, keeping it local, but of course worldwide. Well, worldwide is local these days because we're online, we're on TuneIn Radio, so a very good morning to listeners around the world. We probably will have our regular listeners over there in Marrakesh, New York, and all over the place, so very good morning to you if you tuned in. And right now it's nice to welcome into the Chat City studio this Wednesday the 9th of April Mike Kenedy. And Mike is performer, actor, writer and creator, and he's here to tell us about some pioneering development in attractions up there at Lancaster Castle. So Mike, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
And do you know, I've never been, well, not inside the prison part of Lancaster Castle.
Just as well, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you may have seen the photographs around the area. Have you seen this man? But I've not actually been inside. But I mean, I've been around the castle, and it's beautiful up there. So, and of course, it is open to the public, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can still go to the castle today. It was opened last year for public access, closed down as a prison in 2011. Open for public access now, so people can go there. They can come in and have a look at the beauty and the splendour of the architectural splendour of the castle itself. And there's also the Nice Cafe, which is the cafe on site where you can go and have a nice coffee, beverage, even a meal. And then there's, of course, the fantastic tours run by the council there, and they take you around the courtrooms and around certain areas of the castle that are still in use by the county council. Right,
so they are actually still in use.
Yeah, well, the half the castle is in use by the county council for the courts and the court service, and the rest of the castle is the old Her Majesty's Prison Service, which is now unfortunately not used since the prison service have left.
And I mean the history up there. I mean, going back to cases such as the witches trials,
the Pendle witches, yes,
the Pendle witches. I mean, there were the cases to do with homosexuality in the council in the county. Some of the first cases when people were ever charged with offences, and I think the trials were held up there. So the history behind it is really quite something. And I know it's quite a popular venue now on the tourist map of northwest England.
Well, very much so, and especially when you mentioned there the key, the 1612 Pendle witch trials. That's a key tourism point right there. People come to the castle just to see where the witches were held and where the trials took place. Regardless of the fact that they met their demise elsewhere, it's the trials, and they were held in the castle itself. And one of the Pendle witches died in the castle before trial, of course. And there's so much unspoken history about Lancaster Castle. You are talking over 1,000 years of history. The great John o' Gaunt entranceway. What's really good about the Lancaster Castle is at the moment we're trying to enrich people with this history as much as we possibly can.
And is it becoming quite successful on the tourist trail?
Yeah, it's starting since it's opened up its doors to the public and stopped being a jail. It's become a very popular castle. The footfall during the peak times in the summer and half term, we're having a lot of people visit the castle and come and see what it's like. It's a beautiful in beautiful condition, unlike we have castles such as Kenilworth Castle, and Caerphilly Castle, which has seen the notorious battles over the years that have unfortunately, and civil war, which has meant the castle's in ruins. But the good thing about a place like Lancaster Castle is that it's in such good condition, and it's been so well maintained over the years that you get a real satisfying experience about what it's like to be inside a castle and what it would have been like all them hundreds and thousands of years ago.
And I'm trying to visualise as we're talking, because of course I know where the castle is and I've been in the area around it, which is beautiful. Can you actually go to the top of the castle and see the views over the Lake District, etc.? There's some beautiful views up there.
Well, it's an elevated. The castle's quite elevated anyway, so when you pull into the train station, you just walk up 2 minutes up the hill, and you already got the view right across the lands
the
there.
bay.
I mean, the to open up one of the buildings to go onto the roof to see a beautiful panoramic view across Lancaster or Lancashire generally would be fantastic. But at the moment we don't have the facilities to do that. But there are certain the developments in the castle over the next few years will see something like that coming into play, so that people can go and go up to the top of the keep, for instance, and see exactly this fantastic views that are on offer.
Yeah, certainly would be something. So, Mike, what is your specific role then?
Well, myself and the events manager, Francesca Lewis, there have working together along with another colleague of ours called Paul, and we're working together to create more entertainment-based products for the castle. And when we say entertainment-based products, we're on brand with history, because we want to try and get the product of history out as much as we can in there to make people socially aware about what's on their doorstep and what used to be there. So we've come up with some interesting developments and concepts and attractions that we're going to put into the castle over a number of years. And the first one being called Justice, which opens up May 24th. Its doors on May 24th and is going to be a permanent attraction at the castle for some time to come.
And that will, what will people see if they come along to that?
Well, without giving too much
yes,
away,
yes, without giving it all away. Come on,
it's
a taster then.
Okay, it's a walk-through live actor experience. So members of the public and visitors of the castle would come to the castle. They'd go and see. They go onto this attraction, and they would be taken through the justice system that covers hundreds of years of the justice system. So you'd meet certain characters which will tell you certain tales, and then you'd walk through into another room, and then you would meet another character, and into another room you'd meet another character, and each one is adding to the other person's story. So it's a bit of an interactive live actor based experience. So you meet characters such as the court usher from the 1700s.
Right.
You'll meet the barber surgeon, of course, because in the prison service back in around about the turn of the 1700s and the beginning of the 1800s, if you were executed within the prison and you was the commission of a crime, then your body would be used for experimentation to find out how anatomy works.
So you want some people to come along to experiment on? Oh,
well, absolutely. Why not? Yeah. So you meet the barber surgeon who would possibly have one of the court's cadavers there, and then you go and meet the jailer. And the jailer then will explain to you that you're all going to be judged by Judge Black. And the notorious Judge Black is, of course, called Judge Black because he has sentenced more people to death in Lancaster than any other judge. That's why he's called Judge Black. So,
wow.
And he will trial you. He'll take you into a small courtroom. You would be tried for your crimes. You will have a chance to answer back, to plead your case, and then you'll either be found guilty or not guilty, and then you'll be dealt with accordingly. And that's as much as I can say, because the dealt with accordingly bit is the big surprise. So.
Wow! It sounds absolutely fascinating, I must admit. I'm sure. Many of our listeners will be coming along to this because it sounds great. And I would imagine there's also an important side on it, is the educational work maybe that will be taking place for young people and maybe with schools around the area.
Well, absolutely, yes. I mean, it's one thing about myself. I do work all across the country when it comes to historical properties and the development of historical knowledge within schools and institutions all across the country. And I think it's important to put a product in that's going to be on brand with history. So what I mean by that is making sure that the information we're giving is accurate and historically relevant, not only to the castle but generally to the timeline of British history. And I think that's to learn history in a fun way, as we've seen with the Horrible Histories product, for instance. To learn history in a fun way is a very good way of getting the message across to younger and older audiences as well. Because a lot of people that I've come across in my profession have come to me after I've done a performance or presentation on a certain period of history, and they've been 40, 50, 60 plus, and come to me and said, "Well, in school I wasn't really that interested in history, but
yes,
the way you delivered it made it much more interesting." And as well as that, with Justice is concerned, it's the first of many history-based products that we will be putting into the castle.
I mean, this must be a fascinating job, seeing this come to life, so to speak.
It's an exhausting job.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm based in myself. I'm based in the Midlands, so.
Right. So you're doing lots of travelling.
Yes. After we come off air, I'll show you my train ticket pile, which is quite. So it's a lot of travelling. But I mean, I've been in the profession for a long time now, so I'm used to the travelling. It's a lot of work. What people don't understand is that you just can't go into a castle and just go, right, we're going to change this room and do this and do that and do this. It's owned by the Duchy of Lancaster, who runs it for the Duke of Lancaster, and the Duke of Lancaster being the Queen, of course.
That's right.
And so we have to be very careful about what we do and how we do it. Every single piece of theming that we put in the room has to be put in a certain way to make sure that we're not interfering with the structure of the building, not changing anything that's of any historical significance. So all of this takes time, and it's a huge process. And as well as that, then you've got the recruitment process of trying to find actors and trying to find performers. Then you've got the advertising, then you've got the designing, and then the changing of scripts and the changing of ideas,
and as you said, the authenticity of bringing history alive must be also an interesting challenge of making certain that happens.
Absolutely, and I think it's always seeing the end goal as well. Is that come May 24th, when people are going in there, and I'll be hanging around outside listening to people's reactions in certain rooms and knowing the fact that I've been part of this. And then they'll walk away and they'll remember possibly one or two sections. They'll remember the barber surgeon, or they'll remember the judge. But they've taken that knowledge away from them, and they're going to share that knowledge with other people. And I think that's a good rewarding aspect for a lot of hard work.
Right. What will probably be the most difficult to recreate?
I think the doctors and barber surgeons, because of course you are talking quite a sensitive subject there. Because when you walk into the room, and the person is almost dissecting, you have to do that in a very sensitive way, and you have to you have to be sensitive, educational, and fun.
Yes.
So when you write something like that, you have to go into taste, and is this tasteful? Can this be done in a tasteful way? Can this be done in a non-offensive way? So I think areas such as that. But that being said, I've had this talk with another interview I did. History generally, you have to be sensitive with, because when you think about history and you think about hundreds of years of history has passed, there are so many bloody and barbaric acts that have happened that still need to be discussed because they're important to our fantastic British heritage. So I think out of all of the attraction, I think the hardest part was certainly designing that room and designing that script to go with that room, to still make it fun, to still make it child-friendly, and to still get the important point across about what it was like.
Wow. You certainly whetted my appetite. And for our listeners, we won't discuss anything gory, just should you be eating breakfast at the moment, okay? So if you've got a pot of red jam on the table, you're safe.
Absolutely.
So, Mike, tell us where can people find out more?
At the moment, there's going to be a brand new Lancaster Castle website going up at Easter, which will have lots of information on the site. As well as that we have a Facebook page, Facebook Lancaster Castle, and also as well there's a video that's linked to the Facebook page, which people can watch, which gives them a little bit of a taster to what's coming up very, very soon. As well as that, if people want more information, they can always email me directly at mike@mikeandrewkennedy.com. That's if they want to get involved as well, and if they want more information, or they can just contact the castle and speak to Francesca or someone at the castle and get more information that way.
Okay, and the events we've just been talking about begin on May 24th?
May 24th, Justice, and then later, possibly around July time, we'll be opening up Lancaster Unchained, which is a guided experience through the now closed off areas of the castle. So giving people a chance to go inside the castle, underneath into the tunnel system, and see rooms that they would never see on a normal day out.
And again, once the website is up there, they'll be able to find out all this information up there.
Yes, and also at the local tourist office.
Yes, I was going to say local tourist office. So there you are. So for our listeners, Preston South Ribble, just up the motorway, and for our worldwide listeners, what a taster that's been for a reason to visit Preston and Lancaster. And if you're not sure where Preston and Lancaster is, look on the map. It's northwest England, beautiful part of the country. Mike, can I thank you coming in this morning? That's been so enjoyable talking to you about that.
That's okay.
Thanks for coming in. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you have any news or events you'd like to share with Hughie and our Chat City team, why not give us an email, chatcity@preston.fm.